Hi guys, this is Wenzes. Welcome to today's episode in which I want to talk to you about picking up other people's emotional states, and that we do that thinking that this state is who they are and how it's going to stay that way, sometimes for years, and it's getting us on the wrong track. So stay tuned. Mentioned, I want to talk to you about picking up emotional states, and that on the one hand it happens very natural for me, for example, since I'm an INFJ, but it happens with a lot of people who have like kind of this way of going about their life that they can pick up people's emotional states, and we get like this imprint in our head of this is who the person is, these are the things they're lacking, this is the things they're wishing to have, these are the things that they struggle with, that they're happy with, and we have it as a blueprint and we have it memorized in our minds, and then we kind of like go on thinking that we should connect with that person that we picked up, not realizing that that is just an emotional state of that person at that moment in time. Like if you had a situation where things didn't really work out between you two, you had an argument, you had some misunderstanding, you felt like you didn't really get that person at that moment, and then afterwards you try to like recreate the situation to resolve this issue. This is a natural thing that happens because we so feel like we can, tap into it and really help make the situation better, help that person feel better about themselves, but just kind of connect with that person in that, because we have that so imprinted into us what that person is about. And mainly it happens afterwards. So we pick everything up and then afterwards come the judgment. Sometimes it really takes a minute for us to decide, okay, well, I either acted wrong in that situation, or that person is suffering a lot more than I thought, or that person has some kind of intentions, and it takes a minute. Sometimes it really takes a minute because we take in so much information. I tend to like really do research and to really want to find out like how has that person reacted in similar situation to other people, to get like a better view of what's really happening before I actually make my judgment. Sometimes it takes a while before I have like this picture of my mind of who that person is, and then like, the best of my ability, of course, at that moment, because let's face it, it's not like we could ever know, but I think at that moment that I do know. I know now better that it's not as, solid as I thought it was like 10 years ago, 7 years ago, where I actually really thought I had a really good picture of that person, now knowing it's not that way. But the mistake I still do and I still see with people, and that I want to work on and I want to talk to you about, is the fact that we always get back to that point. When we had that deep connection with that person, that one moment where we're really connected, where we thought, okay, this is who they are, and I'm gonna connect to that, and then afterwards we kind of keep on with our business and always go back to that point. But if you're not like an ESTP, or or somebody who really like sticks to one specific area of this is who I am, and I'm not saying that ESTPs don't change, because they do so much, but at least with them, there's, for us, going from a dominant introvert and intuition kind of thing, we always pick up on that SE, and we can kind of like really stick to that a little bit more. But what I realized that the more and more you really connect with intuitives, or it doesn't even have to be, but just like I'm taking intuitives as a good example, if you have like ENTJs, ENFJs, if you have anything like this, and I've connected with people like this, and I thought, well, why can't I go back to that and have like this? Because that person has changed. It's as simple as that. Like, this is what I was like talking about the last 4 minutes, and I know it was like kind of like a long thing, but I really wanted to make sure that you understood what the whole problem with this is, that we tend to feel that that person that we're talking to today is the exact same person we connect with emotionally 3 years ago, because we don't pick up on personality. It's not possible. Your personality is, vivid, it's wide, you can have like, it's a spectrum. You go left and you go right, and what you connect with was that person at that specific time, with the knowledge they had before they had met you, because meeting you know, you will of course change the way that person thinks in regards to you. Of course, before you know somebody, there's always some kind of different vibe to it, and based on the fact how you two ended your conversation, your situation, and so on, you will realize that will change, and we have changed, and they have changed, and there's no way to really recreate what happened back then. So thinking like I can connect with that specific part in that, like this is like one of those complex situations that I never really understood, is that I was so well at recreating that emotional state of that person, and I was not understanding how that person doesn't connect back with me. The problem is that person today is not the person they used to be. The emotional state that we're connecting to is not who they are. It's their emotional state at that specific point in time. So if you want to use that kind of thing, it's sometimes even like much better to like do it in a situation really in a close matter of time, because the more time passes, the more things happen, the more and more you will disconnect from that person if you're not like on regular, if you don't talk to them on a regular basis, or you kind of really get more and more intimate situations with that person where you're one-to-one and you have deep conversations or whatever it is. So what I do now is every time this happen, you know, because this happens naturally. It's not like I plan this and I go out and I said, oh, I'm gonna connect with that part of that person and so on and so forth. It's just like, especially in moments where things don't really make sense, where you feel like, I don't understand this. Why doesn't this person react that way or that way? Why does this person see me as a threat, or why does that person not see me as a friend, or whatever it is? Since I've like, you know, leveled to their emotional state, yeah, who they were back then. You're not talking to that person that was there back then, and that could have been even 3 days ago. You know, it just changes, and it changes so fast. And the more you talk to somebody of a personality who's also as fluid as you are when it comes to your emotional states, what you pick up and so on, the harder it is to kind of like get back to that state. That's why if you have like talk to ex-boyfriends, you know, or ex-girlfriends, whatever it is, and that other person really tries to connect with you and tries to recreate that, you know, that bond that you had, you know, because this is what people do. If there's some kind of thing where you want to get something back that you used to have, you try to recreate what you had back then, and like not understanding that doesn't exist because you're not that person that you were back then. If you want to have a relationship with somebody now, and as I always say, this is with, you know, colleagues, employers, or your bosses, your students, friends, romantic endeavors, whatever it is, we have to always make sure this is who I am today, and this is who you are today, and also not to like go, this is who you could be. This is who you are today, this is how we're gonna connect, and this is how far I'm going to go, and not try to like be somebody so you can connect with that person in a specific way. Always make sure you come from your perspective right now, and remember that the other person is also coming from like, this is who they are right now. Don't try to think of, oh, this is how I imagine that person to be. Look at them right now. Try to create a new picture, a new person, with like everything that happened back then is just somebody else, because it's a different emotional state. You want to connect with somebody right now, you have to make sure to understand how they're acting and what they're feeling and who they are right now. Of course, you know, the best of our abilities. It's not like we can ever like really pick it up all completely, but having like this mindset shift of, remember, just because you have it in your head, that's not who that person is, will get us a long way. It has changed a lot of my relationships, a lot to the better. You know, there was also a lot of pain involved because I realized, you know, situations that I wished would be, couldn't be, but they happen now in a much more natural, much more true and honest way, because there was no like illusion of we could have connected then. We're connecting here right now, and then we're making the best out of it. Thank you very much for watching. Remember, all videos you can also listen to audios on SoundCloud. Thank you, like always, for your comments and likes, and thank you for supporting the growth of the channel, and talk to you next time.